What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, shout out to Dorian for the donation to the channel via the Cash App and video request. And the video request is who would win in a series between the 2025 Oklahoma City Thunder and the 1992 Portland Trailblazers. And he also wanted me to comment on what I think would happen between 2025 Thunder and the 2013 Heat and 1992 Portland Trailblazers. Um, as we all know, the 2025 Thunder won 68 games during the regular season, a franchise record, and they won a championship in 7 over the Indiana Pacers. Right? Um, Portland won 57 games. I believe they had the best record in the Western Conference that year. I'm not certain. Of course, they won the Western Conference title, but they lost to the Chicago Bulls in the NBA Finals. Drexler was runner-up to MVP, whereas Shea was MVP that year. I think that if these two teams faced off against one another, and let's say the team that's at home is playing by the rules of their era, which means that the Thunder would have home court advantage, meaning that 1-2 would be at OKC, and they're playing by the rules of today, and 3-4 be at Portland. You get what I'm trying to say. I think even with that, I think Portland wins in 6. Because when I look at it, Shea is a great player, right? But Shea seems to have problems with being as effective when he's going up against physical defenses. And we're talking about in today's NBA. When you trap him, when you make it more difficult for him to get to his spots, he seems to get rattled and he becomes more passive, obviously. That Portland Trailblazers team was a top 5 defensive team that year. Matter of fact, I think they were top 3. And their point guards were, of course, Clyde Drexler and Terry Porter. And I would assume that Clyde Drexler probably would have guarded Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And Clyde was a top-notch defender. And I think that he would have given Shea problems. Now, the X factor in the series would be Jalen Williams. Of course, now Jalen Williams, I think, would get off in this series because I would assume he would probably be guarded by Terry Porter, who was an underrated point guard, could shoot the rock, a solid basketball player. At his best, he's an all-star level player. Not a superstar, but an all-star level player that can get you like 18 points a game, 5, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Solid outside shooter, especially for his era. Today, I think he'd still be a good outside shooter. But I think Jalen's probably going to win that matchup just because of his physical gifts. As long as he's healthy. Jalen Williams was like 6'7", 235 maybe. He has the athletic advantage. So there's the advantage there. And small forward is Lou Dort versus Jerome Kersey. Jerome Kersey is stronger, bigger. Lute's a good defender, but Kersey just is more dynamic. I think he wins that matchup. And the key matchups to me, I think one of the key matchups is going to be Buck Williams at power forward versus Chet Holmgren. We've noticed that Chet Holmgren struggles with any physical team. He struggled against the Pacers, who were physical, although the Thunder were able to win that series. And he struggled mightily trying to check Victor Wembanyama, who, you know, isn't necessarily the most physical guy as far as his play, but he can get physical, and he struggled with that. We talking about Buck Williams? That's going to be one of the more one-sided matchups. I think one of the advantages that the Thunder would have, though, is if they tried to, even though he's not necessarily a scorer, go to Isaiah Hartenstein against Kevin Duckworth. Because this was around the time Duckworth was really starting to struggle with his conditioning. This is when he was creeping up to 300 pounds, and he was having problems standing on the floor as much. His minutes were starting to go down. I think he was giving them like 11, 12 points, 6 rebounds a game. So if the Thunder would push the pace when he's on the floor, that would give Portland some problems. But this is what Portland's good at. Portland was a very balanced team, where OKC had depth, and their depth is crazy. Portland's comes close to matching them. Portland, of course, had Cliff Robinson, who could drop 20, 25 points coming off the bench. Portland also had Danny Ainge, sharpshooter, good defender. Portland also had, bodies like Mark Bryant, and I think I'm forgetting a couple other people that played for Portland that year, but they had depth as well, right? And Portland could also, as I said, they were very physical, especially their front court. But Portland could play multiple ways. Portland could excel in the half court, and Portland could run with the best of them. At least that version. And Clyde is a guy that could score, a great rebounder, one of the great offensive rebounding shooting guards ever, and he could play make. So I see more advantages for Portland than disadvantages. Hall of Fame coach Rick Adelman, and OKC's flopping. That's not going to work against against the Portland Trailblazers. I don't think it's going to work. That's just going to get called. I see a lot of free throws for Portland in the series, and I think they win in 6. Only because of Jalen Williams. I think that he's going to have a really, really good series. I think Shea underperforms as he tends to do against great teams. I'm sorry. I like the dude, but, facts are the facts. The 2013 Miami Heat, I think it's going to be even worse because Chris Bosh is going to be outmuscled. Dwayne Wade is going to win that matchup against, if he's being guarded by Terry Porter, but I think it'll be Clyde on Wade because Terry Porter is not really have to worry about anybody of significance. I think their point guard was Mario Chalmers, if I'm not mistaken. So that's not going to be, if you got Prime Clyde against Prime Wade, that's a wash. Now LeBron will have to go against Jerome Kersey. Jerome Kersey is not going to be able to guard LeBron as well on the perimeter, but Jerome Kersey was a strong motherfucker, extremely athletic, and he can make LeBron work harder on defense. And as a consequence, and even though people got this reputation that LeBron's a great defender, I can see Jerome Kersey averaging 16, 17 points a game in this series. And the front court of Portland is what's really going to go off, really going to be the difference. they got guys that can score, and they just got a tremendous size advantage. And I can see Buck Williams averaging 18 and 12 in this series. I could even see, you know, a guy like. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, they might want to put Cliff Robinson at small forward against LeBron. Cliff Robinson, 6'10", that might work even better. And have Jerome Kersey slide over to the the four, and have Buck Williams play center at least at times. Well, really in this series, because who is he going against? Joel Anthony? Buck Williams averaged 15 rebounds a game in that series. So against Miami, because we know LeBron's going to choke away the fucking game, because he's going to be too busy trying to outplay everybody, and he's going to keep the ball out of Wade's hand. They're going to do all this stupid shit. Meanwhile, Portland's going to play team ball and win the series 4-0, 4-1 at worst. So that's just how I look at it. Tell me what you guys think.